Hello and welcome to another episode of TesterSpeak Season 2 with your host Brijesh Deb on the Test Chat YouTube channel. Today with me I have somebody who's uh, it's probably going to be the most awaited episode for a lot of you because I've got somebody who has been really inspirational, somebody who's always come up with ideas, come up with thoughts, and has been fearless in sharing her knowledge. Yeah, that's right. I am talking about nobody other than Dimpy Adhikary, much awaited Dimpy Adhikary. I have been trying to get her on the show for almost a year now, and thankfully she's been glad to accept the invitation and come here. So, without any further delay, let's get into the interview. Welcome, Dimpy.
Thank you so much, Brijesh, for the introduction. Yeah, we are just waiting for almost a year. I remember that, like, I think after the first or second interview itself, you approached me. I'm
Yeah,
glad that, yeah, finally we could make it today.
well,
Thank you.
we approached you for the second episode. Okay, so but anyways, we are doing it. I am very happy. I'm delighted, and I must tell you, on this has to be recorded. On the record, I want to tell you that I am so inspired by the way you do things with your knowledge, the way you share your knowledge. It's really incredible, and to have somebody like you as a part of a community is a blessing. And so it's just great. So I am a huge fan of yours. You must know this, and you have a good fan following, which is why I said that it is a much awaited episode. I am sure when the people in test chat know about this, they still don't know about it. But when the recording will be available, you will see what happens. All right. So before anything else, Dimpy, you've been testing for such a long time. How did you get into testing?
Okay. So after finishing my graduation, I started my career actually with a faculty job in a in an engineering college in my native, and I was teaching the core computer science subjects. I was happy with my job, and more than me, my students were actually more happy. But yeah, so I was expecting little more from my job, and by the time, like most of my friends, like from the same college, they started their career in the software industry, yeah, outside my state. Like some of them moved to Delhi, some of them moved to Bangalore. So I thought, okay, no, let me also give a try, at least get into a software job, like pure software kind of job. But till that point also, I was not very much aware about what testing is. Basically, we learned about, like some of the theoretical concept about testing in software engineering paper. That's all. Even in our college also, whatever projects we have done, we have not done any kind of testing, like deeper testing, right? So all the projects we just submitted, we coded, submitted, and we got the marks. That's all. So I came to Bangalore, and I started looking for a job. Then I even enrolled myself in a Java training. It was a delay of almost 7-8 months after I passed out, and I started applying to software development positions. And by the time I could came to know, like some of my friends already in testing also, and some are in development. And one fine day, I got a call from my first company, like we have an opening for testing. So I went there sometime in the evening, and my interview was actually on coding.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So they asked me, like oops concept, and some they asked me to write some code, because anyway I was not knowing anything about testing. So after the interview, There were three guys sitting there, and they said, yeah, I mean, we waited on the end of the day, and you were the first person whom we could see, like, best fit for this. If you are interested, we can offer you, but it will be a testing position, and we will no, don't worry about, like, what you are going to do or how you will be doing. We will train you, and completely will train you. You may work with us or some of our clients, that will decide based on your performance, but yeah, this is the thing. So I came back, and I started asking my friends also, like, should I accept, or like, should I wait? And they said, try it, what's the harm in trying?
Yep.
So I said, okay, then next day only I said, yeah, I'm okay to accept this. And me, along with some 10 12 I think freshers, we joined, and the journey begins actually. And I would like to say thanks to two of my mentors in that company, because of whom actually I learned testing in depth. The kind of training they have provided, although it was a small company, but yeah, the kind of training they have provided, the kind of knowledge they have shared. I mean, training was both on like programming, SQL, testing, everything. It was really good, and it helped me to understand the subject matter well.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, if Vijay and Yatis, if you're watching this no, video, I just would like to say thanks to both of you, you know, for the guidance you have provided in the right time. But yeah, I was doing actually functional testing there, and even they introduced me QTP.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a site like you can play around. We are not using that in a project, but yeah, I mean, to create some kind of data and all, I was playing around with QTP, just like in my free time. But my major role was functional, as a functional test.
Mm-hmm.
So after some time, maybe years, then I started looking, okay, I should try outside some better opportunities. But till that time, there was no automation exposure for me. I'll share an interesting interview experience. So I got a call from one of my dream company. I'll not disclose the name. So I got a call, and it was for a testing opening only, position only. But yeah, so there was some 5 6 rounds of interview. And interview was also a mix of like testing and coding. And the up to the manager round I had cleared. I hope I cleared. Then there was no no communication back to me. So I contacted the person who referred me actually, and asked like, okay, can they give a feedback at least, like what I should improve. Then he said, okay, fine, I'll check with them and I'll come back. Then after a few days he came back and he told, you don't have automation testing experience, so they rejected you.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay. So automation testing is important. I mean, I realized like, okay, I have to do something in that line as well going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then after that, I got an opportunity from a phone company. Again, it was a functional testing role,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I accepted that because I wanted to learn, and get into that domain. I mean, telecom domain. I thought it will be new as well as interesting and exciting for me, something different than what I was doing till that point of time.
Mm-hmm.
I accepted that offer, and yeah, it was actually good. And almost some 6 months, I learned how the mobile phone. Actually, it was not a mobile app. It was the complete mobile phone. So I learned a lot of things about mobile phone, how the phone works basically, what and all are there in the internal of mobile phone, right? And even the networking side of it, how we can actually test different networking scenarios in the lab. So a lot of it was a CDMA phone, by the way, not GSM. So I learned a lot of things, but yeah, after some months, my manager came to me and told me, Dimpy, do you like coding?
Mm.
I said, yeah, I like coding. There's no doubt about it. But I like no, now I started enjoying testing also,
Mhm.
because I started learning more about testing, and now I could see different areas of testing. But I like testing also. She said, okay, fine. So after some days, they said, yeah, we are moving you to another BU. They started newly, and you will be a coder. You have to, that will be like a proper development kind of role, but you have to do some kind of testing as well, because everyone in the team will do testing as well as coding. But
Right.
yeah, again, the SDET terminology was not there, so we don't know, like it is no, there is some kind of no SDET who can do both testing and coding. We were not aware. So I was not really happy, because I was kind of settled in the team, and I was liking my colleagues, my friends. Right? When you start your career, you're fresher. You don't want to come out of the known people, right? Easily.
Right.
Now
Right. It's
that was my
always awkward.
comfort. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was in a comfort level actually, but. Okay, there was no other option given to me actually. You have to go means you have to go.
Right.
So I moved to the other team. Yeah, so there actually the journey of getting into more into the coding automation begins.
Mhm.
Again, I was mentored by very good managers there. I owe to them actually the kind of knowledge I have today because of them. I was getting the equal opportunity, like all the development training was given to me as well. Whether it is the technology side, whether it is the design side, everything was I was part of. So I started my first project. It was like half testing, half coding, and my major role was to write unit test.
Mhm.
Again, that was fairly new to me, like unit test. Again, I never wrote unit test before that. So I asked few people, they said, yeah, we don't know. No one actually was able to guide me. So I thought, okay, let me explore. So
Mhm.
I bought couple of books, because that time anyway the YouTube videos were less actually. So
Yeah.
I bought couple of books, and I started. And yeah, I could do justice to my role. And then the next project, I was fully into development. It was a mobile application development for a phone.
Yeah.
uh, Again, C++, all segmentation fault. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was purely into development. And next project, again, it was a test framework development for a base station.
Okay.
So we started with design as usual.
Mhm.
That time we used to use lot of UML stuff. I don't know if anybody actually using it now, but you are using, very good. Okay, so we used to create lot of UML diagrams, class diagram, sequence diagram, and all the stuff. And we started, but there was again a twist. So I got a call from my friend telling that Nokia has some opening, and it is for testing. I said, Nokia, it's my dream company. Again, one more dream company came into picture. So I said, and that was for a smartphone. I mean, it around 2008, and the smartphone we know that point of time was only iPod.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said Nokia is having a smartphone division, and this opening is for that. It was very, tempted for me. Like, okay, fine, let me try it. Yeah, I cleared the interview and I got an offer. I decided to join, but that was again from development to testing. Okay, even interview also they ask like, I'll be interested to get into pure testing again. I said, yeah, why not? I mean, if it is good. But I feel that was the best decision I have taken that point of time. And joining Nokia was like really very, very good experience for me in terms of testing, because the kind of testing they were doing that time, right? So the different areas of testing and different levels of testing, right? It was too deeper.
Yep.
I'll give you an example. Like, we were having, a functional, feature testing team separate, then system testing team separate, end-to-end testing team separate, usability testing team separate, hardware testing team separate, middleware testing team separate, and top of that again they before releasing they will give it to for beta testing kind of stuff.
Correct.
So they almost covered all the types of testing. I mean, you just tell a name, I can tell you, yeah, we have done that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, then yeah, after some time, again they moved me to automation team, seeing my interest. And actually, that time Nokia was collaborating with Intel for a no, mobile platform.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that Migo. So I was part of that team. But my
Mhm.
manager told like, okay, we want to propose something on the automation side, because I already started my automation journey, means UI automation journey in a mobile phone. So Nokia was having their own tools for UI automation. But for proposing that, right? So do a POC. We are not having any app. First of all, that is a new platform, and there was no ready-made app available, so that we can actually say our tool set works on this.
Yep.
So that is the problem statement I got from my manager. And he said, yeah, if we can do something about it, it will be great. But yeah, there's no app available to try.
Right.
I thought, okay, I can create an app, right? Because in Nokia I got trained in Qt, so and
Hmm.
all are Qt based app. I said
Yeah.
like, creating a small app for a POC, how much it will take,
Right.
right? So I contacted few of the developers, got the things like all the SDKs and all. I created a small, very simple app. Then I applied the tools and all whatever we wanted to demonstrate, and one scenario for a POC, and it worked in the new platform.
Right.
Then we showed the demo. Then they said, okay, you can start working on that platform, and we can create some smoke kind of test suite for that. Yeah, the automation actually journey begins full-fledged from that. So that was a very interesting tool actually, what I was working with. And till that time, I have not used Selenium and APM. Okay,
Hmm.
that was my first exposure to UI automation of a mobile. We used to automate the mobile core applications like SMS call and gallery and all those stuff, not like the
Not like the
regular
other
apps.
apps. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 So
Those are also apps in context of a smartphone. Those are also apps, but those are the core apps, like you said. Yeah.
core apps, yeah. So it was pretty much interesting because we used to run the test inside the phone.
Right.
So our our things no we what how exactly we were doing it, like we used to create the image. Whenever they release some new image, we have a setup like a CI kind of stuff. So setup will give us the image. Then
Yeah.
we need to actually install that image in a board or a
Yeah.
phone. whatever is available. Image boots up. Luckily, if everything goes fine, we can, deploy our test packages inside the phone, run it
Yeah,
inside the phone, get the results, get the results back to our CI and publish it. That was the thing I was doing. Even CI also, although I was doing, but without maybe much knowledge. The entire thing was automated.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that was really cool, and we started working on it. But yeah, unfortunately, Nokia decided to close down that division because of business reasons.
yeah.
And
Never took off. It never took off actually. It was
yeah, no,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
Migo never took off. Before Migo, I was working on some other smartphones that came into market, but
yeah,
Migo never took off.
yeah.
So yeah, after that, again, next job, I was a developer. I worked as a developer, and then I took my first maternity break, and then after break, till now, I am working as an architect. Yeah, almost always into testing.
Well, that's such an incredible journey. And now I know that you've you've switched between testing and development and automation and stuff. That's why I know the secret behind your way of thinking, how you are able to bring in that dev perspective from time to time into conversations. And it is good because having different perspectives on the same topic makes you come up with better solutions. And you know it's good. Now, I want to ask you this: that from the time you started, you've seen tools evolve. You've worked with some proprietary tools. For example, in Nokia, you had their homegrown set of tools, and you've used the commercially available tools also. So when people are looking for these tools, when people are curious about using tools, uh, what is your advice before people start jumping onto those tools?
Okay, tools are there for help, but we need to understand like why do we need the tool at first place, right? How exactly we are going to use a tool to solve a particular problem statement. So first thing should be the problem statement. Do we understand the problem statement properly? What exactly we want to achieve? If we have clear idea, then we should explore more on the fitment of the tool, right? So yeah, there are a lot of tools available. I do keep on exploring tools and seeing the differences. That helps actually. Whenever I see a problem statement, I can relate. Okay, this tool can solve this problem. That tool can solve this problem. Now my problem statement is this. How can I? Which tool I should actually pick, right? So based on your technology stack, your problem statement, you should go ahead and pick the tools. But that doesn't mean that you should not explore tools. You should be exploring tools so that
Correct.
whenever the problem statement comes, you should be able to take a quick decision.
Right. So, quite often we see people doing these tools analysis, and I have also seen that people don't look at the problem statement. They just start thinking. They just hear something. Oh, this is what we need to do. What is the best tool in the market? For example, you mentioned that you learned about Qt and Qt based applications that were used in within Nokia. So if you were to automate those, you can either have a homegrown framework which can actually help you test it better, or you could use commercially available tools like Squish, like Ranorex.
Hmm.
Those are good with Qt based applications. Uh, but before I make that choice, whether I need a homegrown my own utility or tool to test it, or if I look at a commercial solution, it's important for me to know what problem am I trying to solve, right? And so I, I mean, I completely agree with you on that thought. Now, this brings me to another question. The whole thing about automation, I want to go one step back. Tool comes at a later point in the
Yep.
automation journey. So, in your experience, what have you felt are some of the mistakes that people are doing when it comes to test automation? Okay, and how do you think we can correct those common mistakes?
Okay. There are a couple of. So first thing is again the problem statement. Second thing is like the tool set what we select. But before that also we first need to see why we need automation first of all. Then what exactly we want to do, right? So if the why part is clear, majorly in the software industry, right, people sees okay, selenium is booming, apm is booming, but before selecting selenium you should also know if it is the right choice for your front end framework, right? Or this is the not only the framework, that is one part, right? Next thing is, do we have the proper trained automation engineers who can actually contribute to,
Right.
they are comfortable in coding, or they want to prefer a low code solution.
Mm-hmm.
There is no harm in going for low code solution. Yeah, majorly some people, mostly the programmers, they don't like low code solutions because most of the things they cannot apply. I mean,
Right.
again, programming is very tempting thing, right? So
Right.
the the focus is actually now going ahead from solving testing problems, rather than we are trying to make our automation framework better. But if people are forgetting, like, are we able to get closer to our releases? Can
Mm-hmm.
we are we able to give quick feedback?
Right.
No matter how good your framework is, you apply all kind of design patterns, you apply all kind of coding techniques, you apply clean code stuff, no, you follow all the design guidelines, but end of the day if you are not able to solve our testing problem, then for me that framework is actually useless.
Mm. Correct.
So uh, why not use codeless framework if quick feedback is your goal? The
Correct.
setting of your automation goal is very important. Why you want automation first of all in your
Correct.
process? Now, where exactly you want automation? You want automation only for the execution purpose, or you want automation to create your test data, or you set up your environment. There will be many use cases,
Correct.
right? So look for those areas and see how can we actually make the process better using automation, instead of like going with the what everyone is doing no bdd, let's convert all our testng cases into bdd. That's happening. I mean, you have taken so much time and effort to come up with a testng framework,
Right.
automation framework, and one fine day someone comes and tells you, okay, convert all the testng code into cucumber, because industry is using cucumber, and that's happening. I'm not telling you something which is not happening. That's a real use case. People are doing
Right.
that, right?
Right.
So without thinking, okay, how can we actually we better use the testng code itself, right, testng cases itself in the process, so that we can get regression issues quickly, right?
Correct.
Instead of putting extra effort to making convert those cases into bdd, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
But yeah, when you say, okay, that doesn't make sense word, you will be in trouble.
You start a new controversy. That, I will tell you this, Dimpy, that a lot of people do not understand. Just to use the same example that you gave, the context of BDD. A lot of people do not understand what BDD is and why do you need to do that. In the middle of the project, if you say, okay, convert all test ng cases into BDD, that's not how it's supposed to work. I mean, BDD, if you are trying to apply, you use it from the beginning, right? In the initial stages, not in the middle of the project, where you pick up some test ng cases and you say convert. I, I completely agree with you on this. And this is one big problem, and I've spoken about it in a couple of conferences. There is this bandwagon effect. Okay, everybody is doing BDD. Let us also do BDD. It'll be fun. Okay, everybody is using cucumber. Let's also eat cucumber. Not eat, use cucumber. Okay. Well, okay. So it's like that. I mean, you're absolutely right. Now, how do you solve this problem, Dimpy? How do I get out of this mindset? You know, what do I do? What solution will you propose?
Okay. Yeah, people are actually, now understanding the importance of automation,
Mhm.
at least many. So they do proper planning
Yeah.
and trying to come up with a strategy always. So a good strategy before starting any automation project helps, like defining your core goals. Like, okay, I want only cross browser testing, right? So yeah, I want cross browser testing, so my tool should also support cross browser testing. Now I need to decide whether I will do that testing in house, or I will go for a cloud platform like Sauce Labs or Browser Stack or any that kind of stuff. Now, okay, browser stack comes into picture, costs will come into picture. Do the
Right.
business is ready to pay that much for our testing? Yeah, people are actually ready to pay nowadays. They are going ahead because they are seeing the benefit. End of the day, if you see the benefit, so obviously we will use it. So a good systematic strategy, if you plan it beforehand, like before starting the project, the way we do planning for testing, right? So we should also see when we identify, okay, these are our test types, or these are the different areas where we want to perform testing. Then for each areas, identify the tools and identifies if any we need any kind of framework to support the testing. Right, for example, you identified, okay, for my application we need security testing also. So go ahead, put that part of your strategy, and then explore security tools beforehand, so that when the application is ready, you can also do the kind of things you have planned, right? So strategy helps, and we need to regularly monitor that, like what kind of actually benefit we are getting from our automation, right? So we are testing, we have a maybe smoke suit ready,
Mhm.
which we can run along with every release, and we are at least reducing the time of regular functional testing execution to this percentage, and functional testers are able to now spend more time in which are more critical and which are
Right.
not part of the automation. So in that process, if you have a clear goal, okay, this is my short term goal, this is my long term goal, these are the areas of testing I have identified for this particular project, and I have break it down into chunks, and each chunks will be supported with test design techniques, test tools, like whatever things I need for testing. So that actually helps you to get more benefit out of the entire process.
Right. right? Uh, you know, there are so many things that you mentioned that I've also been talking about, and thank you for providing those those little details that people generally not don't pay much attention to. So what I have observed is, when people start talking about automations, the initial conversation goes, okay, what tool? Okay, I have to learn this tool. And if we look at the market nowadays, if you look at the job descriptions, it's filled with tools, and you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to know this tool, that tool, and it's almost everything is there. And so that's why there is the focus on learning these tools rather than learning these core concepts of building a strategy, of thinking about uh, looking at the feasibility of automation, what areas can be automated. If I was to use automation, you know, should I do it for test data generation? How do I do it? Okay, in my application, when I'm testing my application, how much test data do I need? What kind of test data do I need? How will I prepare that? People don't pay attention to it. Then you also spoke about, managing the environment using automation. How can I use automation effectively to manage the environment? Do I need containers? Do I need to have a virtualized environment? How do I do that? How can I use the ability of automation to do that? Now, if if we bring in DevOps into picture, we are straight away talking about CI/CD pipeline. How do I construct that pipeline? How do I make sure that the entire loop is through and through connected, and you know there is a seamless transition of activities of whatever we do in the entire pipeline. These are some of the questions that people don't pay much attention to. That is what I have seen, and people are too focused on learning tools. And from time to time, I have seen certain posts from a lot of people who are trying to advise people in moving in the direction of testing deeper. I still see a lot of people still stuck at the UI level, testing with Selenium APM, that combination. People are not looking beyond that. And I have seen a recent post from our friend Cham, who was talking about getting deeper into this. Abhijit Vaikar, he also keeps talking about moving beyond mm, beyond the UI. Look deeper. Okay, look at the possible use cases of automation, like you said. So I want to bring in another perspective to this, and I want to know your thoughts. So people say faster time to market is the key. Customers, they are looking for their results. So as for that accelerated delivery, so the entire model of software development has moved towards a rapid application development, if I can call it that.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's why you see the rise of these low code, no code tools. Now, there is obviously not just with testing, but with development also, you have the low code frameworks which have evolved, and now there are these low code platforms for development, not just for testing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what is your thought? I mean, do you think that it is still going to give you the value, the capabilities that you need, or you would still require some sort of strong background in programming to be able to play around and do better job? What are your thoughts?
Okay. See, nowadays, first of all, on the application development is fast, and
Correct.
majority of the things are actually taken care by the platform layer itself, right? So,
Right.
top of that, maybe on our developers will do customization and add APIs and all those stuff, and then we have a product ready. Now, the low code stuff, right? So, what I could see a benefit is like they are quick starters.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose you have no, you have a delivery date very near. and you want to do some kind of testing. Maybe you don't have any no automation in place already. Then these low code tools actually help you to quick start and do something very quickly, like a prototyping. And along with that, you can explore the application with that tool, write some quick script and try to break it. Now your thought process will not be having anything like I have to maintain these scripts, because those are quick script, and those scripts will be no, will be using only for a specific purpose. Once the purpose is done, we will throw it away. Like why do we need to maintain those scripts? First of all, like, our purpose is done. We have we have approached our release date. We are able to deliver, and whatever last moment checks we are able to do. Not even in the last moment check, even initial part of the process also we can use low code for that purpose, like, which can save our time. But if you see your project is going to stay for more than a year, maybe now you have a roadmap for that, so you can parallelly start working on creating a robust dedicated automation framework parallelly. So that framework, you add the test which are actually no, you will run on a stable build.
Correct.
But for your really quicker release feedback, right, you can use low code of automation thing, and without worrying much about, like, maintenance. Like, tomorrow if I run, those will not run because locators are changed, because workflow is changed. I don't bother. I don't want to maintain that. I just
Correct.
want to use and throw it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if I have a budget, I think we can use no those utilize those things, and even anybody can actually quickly ramp up. But if you have a dedicated coding framework, so the ramp up time also will be more, because you have to structure everything. You have to design your framework. You have to add code step by step, and you need to maintain also. So I think it should be a balanced approach. No, this low code stuff, as well as your dedicated pipeline, which will which we are going to use for the longer run, and this for shorter feedback.
Yeah, I completely agree that a combination of both the approaches, the low code versus well maintained, well programmable
Yes.
platform, uh, will give you the best results. Just by choosing either of them, you probably reduce the benefits that you're going to get out of it. And I completely agree
Yeah.
with you that
Everything has its own pros and cons. So we need to understand and then use.
correct, correct. Now, thank you for answering that, because a lot of people are asking these days that, okay, if I want to learn these low code no code tools, what is the market value and things like that. Well,
If you
obviously,
see tools like apply tools or test projects, right, they're really good, and they have all the things, and you can quick start actually. You don't need that day's time. Within few minutes you can quick start. You can run your test. You can integrate it into CI also if you want. It's very quick.
correct, correct, correct. Yeah. So if you are looking at, one of the things with automation is reduce time to market. That is that is the direct value that automation gives you. And if you have that approach, then obviously this is a huge help, because this will get you quick started, and your delivery will be much faster. And I like that thought which you brought in, that you know I don't have to really worry about maintenance so much. I can just do it, and it's like you mentioned it, like use and throw it away. Okay, next time I need it, I'll probably plug it again and do with it, make the changes, then do it. Then you know I like that thought. Now, we've spoken about automation. Let's talk of something about the domains that people are looking. Another question that comes up all the time is, which is the most interesting domain? Now, from a tester's perspective, from a tester's perspective, having worked across different technologies, having worked across different sectors, how, as a tester, should I be focusing on learning testing, learning tools, learning domains? How should I go about having a balanced approach towards this?
Okay. Domain knowledge comes with time, right? So you cannot just get a domain knowledge and tell yourself I'm a domain expert in 1 year or 2 year time. It really literally takes time.
I will interrupt you for a moment, Dimpy. I have seen people asking questions. Can I have notes on telecom domain? Can I have notes on banking domain? Can I have notes on finance, uh, uh, fintech applications? Okay. And I'm like, hang on a minute. You want domain knowledge by reading PDFs? Those are really
User
funny.
guide, yeah, manuals.
Yeah, I mean, domain knowledge is not something which you will get overnight. You're absolutely right. It takes time. Yeah, please continue with what you were saying. Sorry,
Yeah, so
sorry, I thought that.
no problem. So once you are into the system, you can slowly gain domain knowledge. But yeah, you have to actually talk to many different peoples to get the domain knowledge, like maybe your developers, your business guys, your UX guys, who knows, who are working into the system. The best way of learning a domain is from a person who is having experience in the domain. Okay, so for me,
Users,
suppose,
users. Talk to the users.
yeah,
They will know.
users, yes, correct, they will but sometimes, like we may not direct access to the users. So in that case, no, you can approach to your technical domain specialist in your company. They can help you. So for me, suppose I need to learn a new domain. So what approach generally I follow is, first I'll try to understand what are the key terminologies used in the domain and what are the meaning of those, so that before jumping in, taking my next step, I understand at least in a very very basic level, these are the key things in my domain. For example, I'm in a edtech domain, just an
Mhm.
example. So there will be some key terminologies or key groceries, you can say, which will be, which they talk about. Generally when they talk, they will use those terminologies. Get an understanding, overview, that will give you only the overview, right, to start with. Next step, you have to either start with your business analyst, or you have to work with your technical domain specialist to go deeper. So they will actually help you to understand from your base knowledge. Now, if you start without that knowledge, you may not be able to connect to some of the things they are talking, because generally we use even in testing also, you use lot of terminologies related to testing. That happens for anything, right? If it is a domain, if it is a technology, we use those terms. So if you have a knowledge at least what are those terms, at least a very high level meaning of those terms, when you approach a person who is actually into that domain, no, they will also help. You can also gain little more insight about the subject matter. Then you start parallelly working with your surroundings, people, and then talk to them how the what are the key things in the domain, how the domain is impacting our technology, right? So how the technical architect actually give a technical solution based on the domain. What is the gap, what is how they actually link all the things, how the domain is actually linked from the user point of view, right? In my healthcare domain, for example, so people are patients, right? Almost like the medical equipments they will deal with. So what are their problems, how we are as a as a technologist, we are solving their problem. How the domain is coming into picture, there will be gaps. So we need to now understand the gaps and bridge that gap. Yeah,
Correct.
that is not a 1 day or 2 days process. You have to work on it. If you decided you are stick to a particular domain, you have to stay in the domain for some time, then only you can understand it deeper.
Correct.
For learning tool, I think that is easy than learning a domain, right? So tools are like, tools will be very problem specific, right? So we have a problem, this is the tool, we how to use the tool, and then we can go ahead. But yeah, domain knowledge, technical knowledge takes time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Dimpy. I think, you were very right in saying that over a period of time, by talking to a lot of people who are working on that domain for some time, by talking to them, you learn, you look at the problems, okay, you look at the gaps that you need to fill, and that's how you acquire that domain knowledge. And then based on your testing knowledge, you apply, you see, okay, to solve this problem, I probably need to use this approach in testing. And based on the approach that we need to take in testing, we say, okay, and this tool will support me in that
Correct.
approach. That's when you pick your tool. So they are all linked to each other. You
Yeah,
first understand the domain, the problem, then think, okay, what test strategy can I apply to solve this problem? And what tools will augment that test strategy to solve the whole problem? Then you have all the pieces of the puzzle tied to each other. So great thoughts, Dimpy. Thank you so much for sharing. We've been having a very serious testing discussion so far. So let's get into something a little lighter. Okay. So I want to go into my rapid fire round, and I have a few questions for you. Okay, rules are very simple. You get 5 seconds to think of an answer. And if there is a multiple choice question, you have to explain why have you made that choice. Okay, so your first question is, if there is one thing that you would want to change in your testing career, what would it be?
only one thing.
Yeah, just one thing. Okay, the topmost thing.
I want to get rid of test cases.
Get rid of test cases. Wow. Now that's going to stir some controversy. I'm in your team, by the way. I'm on your side on that one. I need to want people to think beyond test cases. It's not that I know what you're trying to say. You want to elaborate why?
Okay, I think test cases is a habit. We are doing it from years, but I don't think testing needs test cases. We can do testing without test cases also. That again, that doesn't mean that test cases are not good. It's not
Okay.
helpful. It
So
doesn't
let's
mean, but yeah.
let's clarify this for the audience. When you say test cases, you're talking about detailed scripts that are written, like
Yes,
for example,
yes,
in a template saying, okay, this is the prerequisite, this is the test steps, and then these are the expected results, and these
yes,
are
yes.
okay.
See, why this is happening actually? One of the thing is like people thinks, okay, testing is easy. If tester is not there, let's pull the security guard, and now he should also be able to run that detailed test case, right? So we should come out of that kind of mentality and get rid of those thoughts, right? So let's open our mind, open our brain, go with an open mind and explore application, identify different areas of the application with an open mind, and gather your evidences, whatever is relevant for your customer. Like, why do we need to restrict our mind into test cases? yeah, there are many different, different questions you may need to answer. Like, okay, test cases are not there, how you will do your regression testing? Test cases are not there, how you will, how a new person can learn, testing.
There are ways, yeah.
But I don't want to get into that discussion now. But yeah, that is my thought again. Like, we should not restrict our brain with test cases. We should come out of it.
Good thought. I I would love to hear the audience reaction on, on this one. All right. The next question in the rapid fire. The toughest question you have faced from your kid.
Okay, toughest is it?
All of them are tough, so it's difficult to
Yeah,
choose.
yeah, all of them are tough. Yeah, so one thing is like you are telling me not to, use phone or laptop for more time, but you are spending a lot of time in front of, computer, looking into your phone, replying messages. But all the time you will be telling me, hey, don't use the phone, don't use the laptop.
That's a
I
good
think
one.
that is very, very tough to answer.
That's a good one. Well, I thankfully haven't reached that stage yet. My my son is smaller, but yeah, he has some really tough questions already. So I'm dreading the day when I get questions like what you get. All right. So my final question, okay, and this I ask everybody because of my love for food. What's the one cuisine or the one food item that you cannot live without? I mean, you have to have that. What's that thing?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let me make it easy. What's your favorite?
Yeah. So there is one thing which actually can change my mood instantly, and that is puri, or in Bengali or Assamese we call it lusi,
Lucy,
with
yeah.
aloo and chicken curry.
Ah,
Yeah, if you give me that plate, and it should be accomplished with rasgulla and misti doi.
oh, wow.
I don't need
Wow.
anything else. I don't need anything else. After that, whatever you want from me, you will get it.
So now we know the secret of making Dimpy happy. And so those
Yeah,
who
my
are
mother
listening,
used this recipe actually to blackmail me if she wants something from me. So before
now,
telling that, she will keep that.
now the whole world will know. And to all the viewers who need Dimpy to help you on something, you know the secret, what needs to be done to bribe to bribe Dimpy and get things going for you guys. So it's an open secret now. Thank you, Dimpy, for those wonderful answers. I want to get back a little bit into testing and want to ask you one question that has been bothering me in the last few days, especially. Okay, so we see a lot of people talking about, uh, you know, trying to solve real problems. Whenever a certain topic is started, whenever a thread starts, a conversation starts, people are like, "What are you talking about?" For example, the whole debate about, automation versus manual, whatever. That's an unnecessary debate. When that
Mhm.
starts, okay, when that starts, some people are like, "What are you talking about? We've got bigger problems to solve." Okay. Or if somebody is talking about, AI taking over testing and testers having no place and AI will do all the testing, then suddenly somebody will say, "What are you talking about? Let's solve bigger problems." That is not a question. So I want to understand from you, what are those bigger problems in testing? I do not have
Okay.
any idea what those bigger problems are. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So I think we should ask only those persons who is keep on telling that there are bigger problems, right? So for me, no problem is bigger or small. It is just a perspective, right? We consume a problem. So a problem which is bigger for me may not be bigger for you.
Correct.
For example, a fresher is asking, right? So should I go for testing or should I go for development? Yeah, he, because that tester, no, he's seeing, no, people talking, right, about testing. Maybe his friends, developer friends, testing friends. Like there are differences in terms of salaries, in terms of expectations, everything. So there will be, no, insecurity that will build in their mind, right? So they are coming forward and they are asking that question, for example, in a forum, and you are a big shot, and you are telling, hey, you are asking this, and no, there are a lot of bigger problem. So that doesn't make sense, right? So problem is bigger or smaller from a person's point of view, right?
Correct.
So I don't see, no, that maybe those are like, quick replies from some people. Either they don't have time, or if they don't have time also, they don't want to go ahead and start a healthy discussion on that. Okay, these are the bigger problems. Because yeah, testing has problems from years, we
Yeah.
know. We have discussed those problems many times. But
Correct.
yeah, again, that problem scales, right, at their own velocity. Now we cannot say like this is big, this is small. It's person to person.
Right. Right. I can tell you one outstanding problem which has remained for years, and it will remain, and that is that of the mindset.
Yeah,
That is a mindset towards testing, or a mindset towards a particular type of testing. That is a problem, and that will remain, because we are all human beings. We
yeah,
will have our perspectives, we'll have discussions, we'll have debates. You're absolutely right, and that we have to understand that it's a matter of perspective. A problem which seems smaller for you may seem bigger for somebody else. Well, Dippy, we've been speaking for almost an hour now, and I don't want you to hold you longer. So before I let you go, I have this last question for you. If Dimpy wasn't a tester or a developer, because you can easily be a developer as well, what else would Dimpy be?
okay, tough question. Okay, I like to be close to nature because of my roots, maybe.
Mhm.
So if I am not doing testing, I would have preferred to get into a job which will allow me to being close to nature, like maybe Indian Forest Service or something.
Wow, wow. No, I can imagine that, and especially coming from a green state, uh, a beautiful green state, Assam. I think this is really one of the things. Okay, I'm also proud of my roots from that state, and the lush greenery, and the wildlife, and you know the bamboo plantations. I just love the nature there. The rivers, the mountains, whatever. So I can totally understand where it's coming from. Well, thank you, Dimpy, for your time. It was awesome talking to you. Finally, we made it. Finally,
Yeah.
it happened after more than a year of of now or later or whatever. Thank you, Dimpy. The conversation seems unfinished because there are a lot of questions. So I am actually seriously working on a chapter two scheduling thing. So we will do a chapter two soon. If not in 2020, I should make it public by now. If not in 2021, my target is to get a chapter two started in 2021. If it doesn't happen in the first quarter of 2022, we should see a chapter two of TesterSpeak starting, where I will re-invite some of the speakers, or rather all of them, one by one and do another round of discussion, because almost all conversations have been unfinished. There is so much to share. There is so much to learn. So the fun needs to continue, basically. So
Thank
that.
you. Thank you, Brijesh. It was very nice talking to you. And finally, I'm really happy that I could make it and looking
Yeah,
forward for the next.
yeah, and thank you for your contribution to the community. Uh, you've brought in a lot of energy into the contest that we do, okay, or others do. I mean, you've won the TTC contest, you've won Moolympics, uh, and you are definitely showing the way to a lot of other testers. Keep inspiring us with the stuff that you do, and we'll keep talking, Dimpy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.